Well, speaking of stories, another big story that happened this year here on the South Coast is number 8. And Mick, I know this is a story that you followed very closely. Brian Pothier made his return to the NHL after losing a full year to concussion. Now, concussions are something that are a hot topic right now in football and the NFL because the league seems to be making a move toward, preventing players from playing with them. But concussions are a big part of hockey as well.
Absolutely. Boxing for a long time, dementia had been connected, brain damage had been connected to boxing. Recently, studies have connected brain damage to football injuries. And now for the first time, and a couple of weeks ago, the late Reggie Fleming, his brain damage has been connected to concussions. And so this is it's scary stuff. Our own Andrew Parent from Fairhaven, who started on the Bishop Stang Blue Line in their run to the state final in '05, he has just retired from contact hockey. He was playing at Becker College. He had worked real hard to get that opportunity and was their #1 defenseman. And then he got his bell rung in the first game, coincidentally against UMass Dartmouth up in Marlborough. And he got clearance, but then his coach wanted him to go see a specialist, and Andrew decided to hang it up. And his family, I'm sure, is breathing a great sigh of relief. But Andrew will remain on the ice as an official. He's been officiating games since he was 11. So in the case of Brian Pothier, you got a guy who's had 4 recorded concussions in his playing career. He missed 14 months since Milan Lucic, the Bruins' young brute on left wing, drilled him near the end of the second period on January 2nd, 2008. And Pothier went back to the visitors' dressing room, which he had been to many times with other teams, and didn't recognize a thing. So there is obviously an issue there. What happened in his case that was hopefully something that they'll learn a lot from is that the symptoms that continued to plague him for many of those next 14 months were not concussion symptoms, but were masquerading as such, but were really connected to nerve processing of vision. And what they learned through an injury to one of the Carolina Hurricanes players, Pothier went down to North Carolina, saw the same specialist, and he got prescribed a pair of glasses, did some visual acuity exercises with a pencil, and he wound up coming back rather suddenly, made great improvements in December of that year, was back on the ice playing for the Washington Capitals in March, and wound up playing in the playoffs where he really started to get his feet again, and now is back playing for the Caps now, in the final year of a 4-year career contract for him. And he turns, I think he's going to turn 33 on tax day, so he certainly has a lot of good hockey left in him, and now he no longer has to play with the fear and the dark cloud of, the next hit's going to ruin me for life. It's more a thing of, what was going on with him has been a vision thing. It's been corrected, and yeah, he's been dinged. He's had 4 of these things, and he's not a big guy, and he's the defenseman, which makes him very vulnerable when you're retrieving pucks. So you never know if he could get hurt again. That's the game. You play it. Patrice Bergeron knows it. A lot of guys know it. A lot of guys that you wouldn't suspect, you didn't know that their careers ended because of this. You find out later that's what happened. So yeah, it's but he's back and he's playing, and good for him. Good player.
And he's not a fringe NHLer either. I think that gets lost a little bit here. This is a guy who had a significant contract, who's been in significant deals through his career, and has been, he's not a throw-in kind of guy. He's a guy that teams have traded for.
Well, that's true. John Muckler traded Sean McEachran to the Atlanta Thrashers to get him, and then Pothier moved on in free agency to sign with the Washington Capitals, who have a bunch of huge defensemen and a couple of talented guys too, but they wanted a guy who knows how to get that puck in the zone and make that calm first outlet pass to get your forwards moving through the middle of the rink in a good place with the puck. And that's such a huge part of the game right now, and that's what Brian Pothier can do. And Brian Pothier has had to earn his spot on every team he's ever played for. He went undrafted. He played at New Bedford High School, went on to Northfield, Mount Herman, playing in Vermont. He wound up walking on at Rensselaer. He wound up walking on with the Orlando Solar Bears, defunct of the old IHL, which was like a sort of a national league to the Americans AHL, and won a championship there. And then he played with the Chicago Wolves when he was in the Atlanta organization after the Thrashers signed him. He made the Thrashers, played for them, got traded to Ottawa, played for Ottawa, was actually a teammate of Bruins captain Zdeno Chara when they were both there, and then signed as a free agent with the Caps. So Pothier, he's had to do everything. He wasn't. Unfortunately, I think if it wasn't for this injury and all this missed time, I think he probably would have been invited to the U.S. Summer orientation camp for the Olympics. That team is about to be announced at the Winter Classic. That's going to happen, and it would be a pretty big surprise at this point if he got in. He's had a good season, but it's a very deep Washington team. So I'm sure that a lot of that can easily get lost.
Well, I'm sure you were in touch with Brian during the 14 months that he was out. What was his mindset during that time? I mean, what kind of things was he talking about? Was he trying every day to find whatever it could be that would get him back into the game, or was he resigned to the fact that maybe he could never play again at that level?
Yeah, it was summer of '08 in July, and he was walking his kids. He was starting to feel better, and he was not having to spend 8 hours a day laying on the couch with his world twirling. He's spinning. He got up and he was going out for walks, and then one day he got a little excited and broke into a little bit of a jog, and then the next day he was flat on his back. So, he was of a mind that I just want to be a normal husband. Mm-hmm. I want to be a normal father. He's got 3 kids now. And now, life is feeling normal for him again, which is really, really, really great. And to be able to go out there and play hockey is certainly something a guy wants to be able to decide, I'm all done with that, and not have to be told that you can't do it anymore.
Sure. Well, very, very proud of Brian Pothier and glad that he's back on the ice.
And actually, one last quick shout-out,
yes,
if I can. Our other NHL connection, who I know Mick knows well, Scotty Allen, this year becoming a coach for the New York Islanders, New Bedford Zone, after decade plus in the minors, correct?
Oh, the guy's been everywhere. It's unbelievable the traveling that Scotty connect the dots across the U.S. and you got Scotty Allen.
And now he's made it.
And now he's on the NHL bench with a very respectable young New York Islanders team, which is making itself a real pain in a lot of teams' behinds. In the Eastern Conference playoff race, they may not get in, but they are really being a problem to a lot of teams that were hoping that they were automatic 2 points. Scott Gordon, who coached the Providence Bruins for many years and actually comes from just right outside our coverage area, Easton area, and he's a head coach there, and now they got Scott Allen. Gar Snow from Rentham, who played at Mount St. Charles, he's the general manager. So there's a ton of Boston area, New England connection there going on with the Islanders right now. And they're starting to turn a corner here and becoming a little scary. So, but great for Scotty Allen. Not only is in the show, but they're competitive.
So a New York team that you can't hate if you live in the South Coast.
Not anymore. I think in the early 80s, the Bruins fans hated them.